there's one thing I love more than Tales from the Crypt, it's Steve Buscemi. If there's one thing I love more than Steve Buscemi is I love when Steve Buscemi's in Tales from the Crypt. And guess what? He is in this episode. On this lovely fucking masterpiece at the Drip Fred Dread, we are talking about a little graphic, brutal, and disturbing episode called Forever Ambergris. And I know what you're thinking, Ratty, why is this shit so graphic? This one had me churning. This one had my stomach bubbling. The practical effects were on par. And I just want to say it's one of the coolest episodes I've seen in a while. It has great story, great effects. It just paints a beautiful picture with excellent acting. So with that said, come hang out with me. What up, y'all? Welcome back to Phantom of the Indie Review. I am your host. We keep this love in a photograph. We keep these memories for ourselves. Dill. We are on the journey of 4,000 subscribers by whenever we get there. I know what you're thinking. Oh, bro's got a stain on the shirt. Yeah, I spilled fucking water on it like 4 days ago and the water won't come out. Shit's insane, right? So if you like Tales from the Crypt as much as me, and you're like, dude, why aren't you dropping any more true crime? Why aren't you dropping any more House of a Thousand Corpses videos? They will come in due time. Come hang out with me and give me a subby. Forever Ambergris came from season 5 of Tales from the Crypt, and this episode stars our man Steve Buscemi and another great actor. After playing second fiddle to an up-and-coming photographer named Isaac Forte, a seasoned but washed-up combat photographer named Dalton Scott, played by Roger Daltrey. I love this guy, dude. I haven't seen him in anything other than this episode, but he was lit. Cooks up a deadly scheme in order to take him out and get his beautiful wife. That's the gist of it. And let me just say, hear me out. Steve Buscemi in this role is phenomenal. He's transcendent. He is the up-and-coming wartime photographer that he just captures these epic photos and just has a pristine eye for chaos and tragedy and beauty. I'm looking around for my vape like a fucking fiend. And the thing with Dalton is that really breaks his heart is that he used to be exactly like how Isaac's character is. He was like, dude, I used to have it all. I used to be the man. I used to be the talk of the town. But after a few tours, a few failed attempts, he just became washed up and misused, kind of like Klay Thompson with the fucking Dallas Mavericks. Now, fuck you, Klay Thompson. Oh, are you a Golden State Warrior fan? If you are, please stay subscribed. But the Boston Celtics are winning the championship. Rant over. That was a meme, I swear. And the movie starts off with them on an airplane, on a helicopter, and they're just comparing pictures, and Dalton's like, yeah, these pictures are okay, I guess. You could do a little better. And Isaac's in his head. He's like, I don't know. Do you think they're good? He's very humble. He's very modest. He's very likable. So when Dalton goes to his agent, he's like, yo, I'm going to go to some other war-torn region. I think he says in South America. His boss is like, dude, that shit's played out. Shit ain't been cool since the 70s. And he's like, well, I'm going, and I'm going to get the picture that's going to redefine my career. And he's like, all right, fine, you can go, but you got to take Isaac with you. And Dalton's like, oh, I don't want to fucking take him with me, dude. This dude sucks. He's my op. He's my apprentice and my op. He's like, after being reluctant, Dalton's like, all right, bet, I'll go. So he goes to pick up Steve Buscemi at his house. Buscemi answers the door with his girl, Bobby, the love of his life. And they are just a match made in heaven. Perfect, cute, adorable. And Dalton starts taking a fascination to Bobby right off the gates. And the one thing I like, it's very subtle. I read the synopsis to you. You're like, oh, a lot of Tales from the Crypt episodes stems from jealousy and love triangles and, revenge. But this one is subtle because, Steve Buscemi's loose. He's drinking. Dalton's his idol. And he's like, yo, you dance with my girl, dude. Dance with my shorty. Pull up in the club and dance with my shorty. And Dalton's like, I'm set. I'm Beyonce. He's like, come on, dance with my girl. I want you to party with my girl. So he's like, bet, say less, I'll do it. And, Steve Buscemi goes to the back to take a whiz, and they start slow dancing, and ooh, Dalton's just feeling the connection and the rhythm of his heart. And later that night, he gets up to get a glass of water, and he sees Isaac and Bobby making passionate love in the bedroom, and he's just watching, and then Bobby sees through the reflection of the mirror he saw. So she's pissed. She goes out, she's like, dude, you like being a peeping Tom? You photographers are really caught up on capturing images. And he's like, yeah, no, I was fucking bricked up, and I wanted to check that out. My bad. And you can feel this resonating tension between the two, but she says, she's like, I am in love with Isaac. He is so brilliant. He captures the beauty in photos. We saw these dead possums on the side of the road, and he got the beautiful pictures of the maggots and the death recirculating from life. And Dalton's like, yo, what if happens when we go on this trip and boy doesn't come back? If I had a girl like you, dude, I would not risk the biscuit. I would fucking stay in your arms, girl. And she's like, yeah, well, it's about sacrifices. And this is where it's like subtly creative, because Dalton starts to hatch a plan to get Bobby, which to me, surface level, it sounds stupid. It's like, bro, you really want to have a comeuppance in your career and you really want to do good, but all in all, you're like, oh, I really care about this girl more than my fucking money in my bag. Like, that's fine, but like, we get it, she's hot, but she loves Isaac, so leave her alone, leave her be. And they go to South Africa. They're in the jungles with this unit, and there's this one unmarked location that Dalton's like, I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna get these epic pictures and it's gonna be awesome. And then Isaac, you're gonna tag along with the troops and get some more in combat shots. And Isaac goes up, he's like, well, I'll go with you, or you can just give me your cool photo shoot idea and you go with the soldiers. And this kind of drips a little egotistic nature from Steve Buscemi's character. And Dalton's like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, you act all so shy and bashful and coy and cool and everything's so calm and collective, but you're just a fox. You're just a canine like the rest, and you trying to get my last motherfucking chance at a meal ticket. And Steve is like, I just wanted to take some cool pictures, I'm sorry. And you're like, is Steve Buscemi playing him? Because at the heart of the heart, man's got to eat, dog's got to hunt. It's a dog-eat-dog world. So not as nice and loving as Isaac is, he didn't get to the top by just being so nice. So a part of you wants to believe maybe Steve Buscemi is a little bit of a jackass, shady motherfucker. Dalton snaps at him, and then he goes, you know what, I'm sorry, you can go and I'll stay behind. And as he goes, we get a sinister smile, and you're like, oh shit, it's a fucking setup, dude. I should have known from the jump it was a setup. This sucks. And that night they get back from their combat shit, and Dalton's like, well, guys, have a good night, I'm gonna go in my tent all smirking. And he comes back, and Steve Buscemi's laying there in the bed. He's like, dude, I got some pictures, dude. Even you would have took some good pictures, like knocking him down a peg. It's like, dude, this was your idol. It's not, he's acting like he's a slump. Like, he'd been there, he'd been at the top before, and all of a sudden you want to be like, even you could take good pictures, Steve? Very likely. And he's like, I didn't mean it like that, I'm gonna go mail these out. So he goes and mails them out, comes back to the room, and they're laying in bed, and Steve's like, you know what they say about war? It's hell, but damn, does it make you tired? And as they're laying there, going to get them some shut-eye, Dalton's over there fantasizing about Isaac's bitch. Isaac's like, oh, I think I got a tummy ache. Oh, I don't feel too good. And this is where the episode picks up, and we get a brutal, grotesque unraveling of Dalton's revenge, because Dalton sent him to this area because there was a parasitic, nasty contagion wreaking havoc on the entire country. And Isaac says that, he's like, dude, you could take an amazing picture just by looking at this shit. And this shit starts to catch up to Dalton, or to Isaac, and really fuck him up. And just the transformation of him getting sick within the few minutes, from his blistering, boiling ambiance to his eyes popping out to him getting sick and coughing. It's just really quite graphic and brutal. And you're like, dude, that is very tragic. Dalton's like, oh, don't worry, I'll go get help. I'll go get some help. I'll run up. I'll get the help. And the soldier comes up, he's like, what's all that ruckus in there? He's like, nothing. Isaac's just like feeling kind of shitty, and it's like, dude, he's trying to let him die. So the next morning, he's like, yeah, Isaac's just in the tent chilling, he's fine. And then Isaac comes walking out of the tent like a motherfucking bona fide zombie. It's very creepy, very eerie. And he's like, Dalton, like he's about to expose Dalton for not helping him. So Dalton pulls the fucking mini-mac Uzi and just guns him down. And he's like, what? No, he was contagious, which is a good defense. He's like, he was contagious, he would have got us all sick. So people are like, that's kind of shady. Then the episode of the war, the war part of the episode ends, and Dalton is back on top. He stole fucking Isaac's pictures. He's on the cover of fucking Teen Beat magazine, all this crazy up and coming shit, MTV, whatever. He's with fucking Isaac's bitch, dude. He's with Bobby, and you're like, dude, this shady little MFer, this dumb motherfucker, life guns and butter, this grandpa used to make the crack rock bubble, tell come I love us, you're a real good motherfucker type shit. And Bobby's like, I actually got a letter from Isaac. I actually got a letter from the sergeant you guys were with, and he said you let Isaac get sick and then killed him to cover up the truth, but I didn't believe him. And I was like, you dumb bitch, like, that's a very specific and detailed letter, you should have believed him. And they start passionately making out. She's like, you're all I need. Like, I sacrificed myself for Isaac. I love him. So they go into bed, and you're like, all right, man, this is getting something. And keep in mind, I watched this episode on YouTube, and they showed breasts on YouTube. So just so you know, they have uncensored titty videos on YouTube. boobs, which I'm shocked by. I'm not recommending it, I'm not proud, I'm not patting myself on the back for that, but they have them if you're looking for them. And they're in bed, and as she's like saddling up, she's just like sweet talking Dalton, and then she's like, yeah. She says some crazy shit, and pretty much she's like, I really know that you killed Isaac. And then Dalton's like, what? And she's like, I had that sergeant who wrote me a letter and mailed me back a little piece from the fucking gross toxic shit, and now I ingested it. And there's like a part of you is like, oh, that's kind of a cool plot twist, but then you're like, so this sergeant was like, yeah, he killed your man, so I'm gonna go to that forest, grab like a leaf, and mail it to you. Ha 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 ha. Fuck a contagion outbreak. This is for the meme. And he's like, what? And as she's like slow riding him, she just starts to like bleed profusely and bubble up and just fucking chaotically die. And as she dies, she goes, this is my sacrifice for Isaac. And you're like, that's so beautiful and painstakingly sweet, even though it's kind of far-fetched. And Dalton panics and he gets up. He's like, no, I'm gonna get sick. And as he looks in the mirror, his nose falls off, and he caught the contagion that he made Isaac get in the war by trying to steal his pictures and make sure Isaac died and that he could take credit for him. And you're like, that is insane. That is sick. And ultimately, Dalton got his comeuppance. And all in all, this is a fucking sick episode. I love it. Like I said, it has a great pacing to it. When it does get to that eerie, bloody, bubbly, blistery point where Isaac starts to suffer, it's very graphic and gratuitous. Like, I can't believe they released that on a TV show back in the day. Like, I don't get sick and queasy easy, but that shit was kind of gross. Steve Buscemi and the other actor are phenomenal. And, like, the desire and insatiable obsession that Dalton has for Bobby is subtle, too. Because a lot of times they overdo it. It's hammy. But this one, you can see in his eyes and in his demeanor that he really wants her. But it doesn't say that to you. Like, it's not spoon-feeding it down your throat. Like, he's in love with her. Like, you can just pick up on the vibes. You know, the little war. Every time they do, like, some, like, jungle or war scene, it's always fun. And the practical effects of Steve Buscemi as a zombie was cool. All in all, it was just a fun episode with a great twist. Like I said, it's an unbelievable twist, but it was impactful because it shows that Bobby loved Isaac all along, and she's like, you're not going to get away with this, and Dalton gets his comeuppance at the end. It's just a great episode. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Comment down below what Tales from the Crypt episode you want next. Please subscribe, give me a thumber, hit that ding-a-ling button harassing you, telling you, hey, it's me, I'm here, and I'm going to say it one time for the one time and two time for the O's. Give me a hell yeah for horror.
Get out of my face.
I never understood why. The only time I was ever a little bit freaked out by one of those little fucks is when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Larry the Cable Guy played her.